Hey, hello again. Look at you. You just keep going. You're at lesson number 4 now. If we have 100 lessons to get to intermediate, and that's practice in between, you're 4% to intermediate already, and you're just a beginner. So don't stop. Keep going. Every video is important. We're going to build upon your technique and what you learn step by step. So you'll learn the thing you need to know first, then what you need to know second, etc. So this is a good day to make some noise. This is a good day to make some music. So today we're going to make some music. And so to do that, let's understand just really quickly what music is. Really, music is 2 things. It's rhythm and it's tone. So you're making notes, and all notes are tones. We said a little bit in one of our earlier videos, the distance between this nut and the bridge, where the string touches, when your string vibrates, it vibrates at a frequency, and that creates a tone. So if you remember, the guitar is tuned when we take these pegs and we tune them. We tune this top fat E string to E. And then the next one, this is E. The next one is A, D, G, B, E. And we already went over that, but you really need to memorize that. That's going to be very important going forward to be able to improvise, to play, to know what you're doing on the instrument. You need to know that. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. E-A-D-G-B-E. Learn that. Don't just know it, learn it so that you know when you're plucking a string. If I pluck that string, I know I'm on the high E. I know that third string is the D, E-A-D. So learn it and get that into your memory where you know it. So, with that, I'm going to explain a little bit about the instrument now. If I'm on this high E string and I hit it open, when I say open, what that means is that I'm not fretting it. I'm just open. Okay? The very first note, if I take my finger and push down on that first fret, now remember, we're not trying to hit the wood, we're just touching the string to the fret. When I play that note, that is an F. E, F. Okay? So, we'll talk a little bit about music, but music basically has 7 notes, okay? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's no H or J or any of that kind of stuff, right? It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then in between those notes, there are flats or sharps, okay? So when I look at E, F, this next one here, that's an F sharp, or you could call it a G flat, okay? So E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Okay, something really funky happens with B. It's only a half a step. There is no flat or sharp in between B and C. B, C. Now, once from C to D, I skip 2 frets, and that's D, because there is a C sharp. There is no B sharp, but there is a C sharp. Okay? And then D, D sharp, E. Now another funky thing happens with E. In between E and F, there is no sharp. So it's 1 fret apart. E, F. Right? So B to C is 1 fret apart. E to F is 1 fret apart. So to remember the notes that don't have what we call an accidental or a flat or sharp, just use the word B. B-E. So when I pluck that top string, it's B. The reason the very next note is an F is because there is no flat or sharp in between those 2. So understand the notes. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the dots in another video, but the dots can kind of help you. Since every string's a different note, it doesn't always work this way, but it kind of helps you like a roadmap. So I know that first dot is a G. I know this dot is an A, and this dot is a B. It kind of helps me locate it a little quicker on the guitar. It doesn't work that way on every string because every string is tuned to a different note, but on the E string, the top one, And the bottom one, the high E, same notes, because this is E and this is E. Okay? So what happens is, that's a note. Now, when you go to the next string, and we'll talk more about it more in depth, but the next string is A. This string open with no fret, that's an A. Okay? So what do you think, if I put my finger on that second string, what do you think that is? It's an A sharp, because there is a sharp between A and B. Okay? So A sharp, B. Now B has no sharp, so what's the next note? C. Skip 2 frets, D. E. Oh, and now I'm at E, so there is no sharp between E and F. 1 fret down's an F. So A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So here's a cool thing. That open string and these 2 dots are the same note. So if I hit this, that's an E. If I fret it, that's also an E. Same thing. A. So it starts over at the 12th fret. That's the 12th fret. It starts all over just like it did up here at the nut. It starts all over. So that helps you understand what is a note. So in music, it's the notes, the different in the pitch and sound of the notes that make music interesting, that give you, variety. The second thing about music, it's important, is rhythm. There's meter. It's divided into parts. So there's timing. So there's 2 things that we really need to practice every time we practice, is making sure we get the notes right and try to play in rhythm. Now, when you play your first song, it's going to be slow, and that's okay. So a good way to practice is something we call 4/4 timing at a slow tempo, and that's just 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're looking at a piece of sheet music, I'm going to bring that up going down the road. It's 1 measure. So you got lines going this way. It's the distance between the first 2 lines that go this way. Okay. So if you have 1 measure of music and you're in 4/4 timing, it's 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to practice playing an F note, you can put your finger on that fret. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to get a sense of, hey, I'm playing something, but it's in a certain timing. Okay. So the exercise we talked about in the last video, where you do, some people call it the spider exercise. It's a very, very well-known exercise. It helps get your dexterity and your finger muscles going when you're first starting. Now you know what notes: F, F sharp, G, G sharp. And then if I went down here, A sharp, B, C. Okay? So go very slow with that at first, and go ahead and start feeling out your instrument. Play around the neck. If you can do it on another string, then great. That's great. You can do it up and down. Don't worry about going that fast. Slow. Slow is fast. Actually, put your hand on the neck. If you're keeping your fingers relatively close to those frets when you're doing the exercise, you don't have to move them as far, the more accurate you'll be. And that helps. So with that, now you understand the notes. Now, I didn't go over every string, but it repeats itself. So you have E, A, D string. If the D string is open, D, what's the next note? D sharp, right? So your third string follows just like your second and first string does. It's B sharp, E. Now there is no E sharp. So F, F sharp, G, etc. And you do that on every string. So the G string, G sharp, A sharp, all the way down. Now this string, I'll go ahead and tell you, this B string, it's kind of a booger because everything else, that's a technical term, booger. Everything else is tuned 1/4 apart except that B string, and it's a third. And so as you go down, we'll talk about what that means and why it can be frustrating. It's good because when you're making chords and things, you'll realize it actually helps you, but it's just tuned slightly different than the other strings. Okay, so I told you we're going to make a first chord. So I want to teach you what I think is the easiest chord to start with, and it's a beautiful chord, especially on an acoustic. By the way, all these things I'm telling you, same on electric as they are on acoustic, is the E minor chord. It's a big old open, kind of sounds sad, doesn't it? But it's so easy to make. So you take your first finger and you put it on the 2nd fret on that 2nd string. That's the A string. You take your middle finger, you put it on the 3rd string, which is the D string, and you push those two down. Now they can't be perfectly at the fret, so you're gonna have to go to the side a little bit, okay? Notice my thumb is kind of high on the neck because I'm way up here, okay? My arm's relaxed. You wanna make sure you curl that finger, look at that, see, you want it on the very tip. You want tip, tip. Because when you strum it, if your hands are like this, it'll sound like this. Because the pads of your fingers are hitting the other strings. So take your first finger, put it right here, 2nd finger right here, and see how you're from the side, my hand's kind of curled, my thumb's kind of high. And the way you practice a chord is put your fingers where they are. At first it's gonna feel really awkward, that's okay. And one string at a time, pluck your string. Because I held my guitar up. You want every string to ring out. You want every string to ring out. You don't want to hear this. Okay? That is an E minor. Now you know your first chord. You can take your strumming hand. So I'm gonna teach you one more, and this video's already gone longer. I told you guys in the first video I'm gonna shoot for 5 minutes. They're all getting close to 10, so I'm gonna try to do better with that. But I wanna give you good, accurate information that you can use and be thorough rather than just be fast, but I'll do my best to keep it short. So that's an E minor. So E minor is just a way to say there's the note E. When you're using a chord is made up of really 3 notes. It's usually the first note in a scale. So if you have the E scale, E would be the first note. And then the 3rd note in that scale, and then the 5th note in that scale. And by scale, it starts E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. That's what I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll talk about flats and sharps, but what makes it a minor is that 3rd note is flatted by half a step, or by 1 fret is one way to think about it. So if that's an E minor, see where my fingers are? An E, I would take these 2 fingers, put them in the same place that I had those first 2, but now I'm going to add a major 3rd right here. So if you can see that, I'm on the tips of my fingers, got this one on the 2nd fret, this one's on the 2nd fret, this one's on the 1st fret. Now that's an E major, and that's a beautiful chord. So now you know an E minor and an E major. Okay, hey, don't give up now. Here's what you need to do. Practice playing those individual notes. Slowly, keeping your hand in a good position, your thumb behind the neck, your wrist is slightly bent, you're on your fingertips. Try not to have your fingers way off the neck, kind of have them close, and then you want to ring out. And then be thinking about what that note is. So that's an open E, that's an F, that's a G, etc. You're not going to memorize that whole fretboard in a short amount of time, trust me. So just take your time and learn maybe one section at a time, one little area of the guitar at a time. And we'll have some drills and practices for that. But hey, you are 4% to intermediate. If you practice this and get this under your fingertips, practice those notes, practice those chords. Every single note should ring out clean. Okay? All right, looking forward to the next lesson. Because in the next lesson, you're going to play your first song.